Hey, what's going on, guys? No kit dropping in from the ceiling to start off today's video, because what I've got here is actually just these two boxes of runners and everything that is just kind of all the contents of the kit without having like the outer box, because this is another very early sample in this case. This is the AniMester Polaris White Snake Mecha Girl model kit here, and yeah, it's quite early as this is not meant to be out until like this summer, almost June, I believe. But I've got an early sample here, and I also didn't have the instructions, but I did have a PDF, so I was able to just print out the instructions here. But it looks like quite a cool Mecha Girl kit, so we'll check this out here for today's video. The unboxing portion of the video is going to be a little bit different, obviously, because I don't have the outer box. It's just kind of all the contents here, but let's go ahead and get into it for today's video. So yeah, normally where we would be taking a look at the box, because we don't have a box, I can only assume that this is how it's going to come packaged, just with like an outer box, but it's going to be like two smaller boxes inside. And so I think that it's maybe like one smaller box here is going to be different parts, like for like the girl body, and then like a lot of the other mecha parts will be over there. So first of all, we've got this, which is pretty interesting. Seems to be like basically a paper runner stand that you can fold up to turn into like basically like a disposable runner stand sort of, although I guess you don't have to dispose of it after just using it for this kit. You can fold that up, tuck in the tabs along the side, and you've got an included runner stand. So okay, that's interesting. And then a very, very large water slide decal sheet. It's like larger than A4 size. The A4 was not even like this wide, it's even like longer than that. And we've got this small sheet of just these gold circles there for some decals, and then for the large sheet, it looks like we've got decals for the eyes up there, different leaf kind of pattern decals. Those are probably going to be ones that you can just kind of like stick on wherever. And then some more of kind of like your standard caution markings and stuff for the more mechanical aspects of the kit. Some larger like Chinese characters there, so a whole bunch of marking decals that you can use for this. You're definitely not going to use them all, so it's just like a lot of options basically. And then in this box, well, yeah, we would then also take a look at the instructions. We do have a set of face parts here that are unprinted, so you can just use the water slide decals on those if you want, or hand paint them, I guess, if you're really feeling adventurous. But then we have our printed face, and it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different printed faces here with this one, with a variety of expressions on those, so those look really nice. But yeah, as far as the instructions go, I mean, I just printed them out, but essentially, I mean, it's just kind of standard instructions, parts list. And then it's quite long though, and it's separated into like two parts. It's a separate part there for like the snake body after you build like the main body and the armor parts and weapons parts and stuff. And so it's going to be quite the lengthy build process. And so that's why I'm thinking that maybe in this box, this smaller box, is all the parts like for part 1, which would be like the girl character, but then we do also have like these clear parts for the base. We'll go over all the runners here in just a minute. Because then here in box 2, I think this is basically just going to be all the more mechanical parts for like the white snake part of the kit. So that's how we'll go through the runners. Let's go ahead and get into it. Also bagged up here, we've got some hair parts. There's some hair parts here in clear red, some other clear red parts there, and then we have the hair parts in like this kind of light blue color, which is going to be our main color for the hair there as well. And then yeah, these parts for the base. So there's going to be these 6 diamond shaped pieces here, and then a few other pieces here on these 2 runners. There's 2 runners each of like the connection arm that's going to hold up the kit there. As for our runners for this box, and what I can assume is going to be the case for the other box as well, they're kind of all over the place. So we've got G6 and G8 here, which are plated gold runners that look really nice. And then runners 01, 02, and 03 are going to be some skin tone color parts. Runners 04, 05, 06, and 07 are all going to be here in medium gray. There's just a bunch of these small runners like this. I don't know why they didn't put just more parts onto one larger runner. Runner P1 is going to be some parts here in a dark gunmetal color. Runner P2 and P3 are going to be here in white for some more parts there for the body and armor. Runner P4 is there in gray. P5 is here in clear red. And P6 is going to be a couple more dark gunmetal parts there. This runner R then is going to be in a softer plastic here for all of our hand parts in black. And then we've got a bunch more skin tone color parts here with runner R1, R2, like that, R3, a couple parts there for like the chest, R4, which is going to be our thigh parts, which are a solid piece, no seam line on those, that's good to see. R6 there for the parts for the top of the arm. Runner S1 is here in white, runner S2 is here in black, and swap that for the T runner. T1 is here in black first, then we got T2 there in white, T3 is a couple parts here in clear red. Runner U3 is a couple of parts there in gray. U4, some more parts here in black. V1, some parts here in clear red. And then lastly for this box, runner W1's more parts in black, W2, some more parts in white, W3, some more parts in clear red, and W4, some more parts in gray. And in box 2 here, we have about 50 runners, so just to save you guys some time, here's runner U1, which is going to be some more hair parts in light blue, so there are going to be some parts of the character body here in this box as well, so they are a little bit mixed. We do also have this bag of wire included right here. We got a bunch more clear red parts here that you're going to have a lot of these there on the runner, a lot of clear red as we saw in the first box as well. There's going to be some more of that here, including some like larger, very pointy looking parts too, I'll say. You have some parts in gray where it looks like a lot of these are going to be just sort of like acting like polycaps essentially, and for like joint parts, and there are a few more kind of mechanical looking parts there in gray as well. Here we've got a bunch more runners here in black where you can see like kind of similar shaped sections, so it's going to be like for the smaller and larger sections of like kind of the snake body. There's a bunch of those like that, a bunch more mechanical parts here in black, mostly just for the snake it looks like, and again it's just a bunch of small little runners like this. Next up we got about a dozen more runners of white parts here as well, ranging from some more smaller runners like this, and there are a couple of larger ones as well. There's a couple of smaller ones there. We do have finally some a little bit more larger runners here for this one, but all these are in a pretty like pure, mostly pretty bright white kind of color. Next up then some more gunmetal parts, and these are actually plated, so you can see like they're plated with that gunmetal like pre-painting there on the top side, and the back side is not, so you can tell like that's just sprayed on just the top side of the runner here on these. It looks like for most of them. There is again a lot of these as well for like some blade parts there. Do have a few larger parts here for like the main body, but again, yeah, it looks like those are just sprayed on the top. Only a couple of larger runners. There are some more parts in that gunmetal color. It does look really nice. And lastly, a handful of some more gold plated parts here on these few runners with a bunch more gold. The gold does look really nice as well. I like the shade of gold that's used for this, nice and bright like this here, and then some of these ring detail parts. And that's it. So there's a lot of parts with this kit, as you see. I think it's going to take a while to get this put together, so then we'll get started working on that and then we'll check it out. Alright guys, then here is the kit all put together. Actually, just as I picked up the kit to show this here to you guys, I was realizing the color scheme and thinking that it reminds me of like a candy cane or something like that. I mean, it's got the darker colors in there as well, but it does kind of have that look, I guess, doesn't it? Anyway, this is of course only one part of the kit. We do also have the white snake mecha aspect of this, which is very large and a little precarious here on the stand. Pretty heavy as well, and then like I said, there is a ton of stuff that we can do with these, either together, I mean like separate, or you can combine them together, and they have a bunch of different gimmicks separately. There's just a whole bunch of stuff to do with this, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So let's start off by just going through the face option parts here. The printing and the color quality looks really nice, except for the ones that have the open mouth. The mouth is not an actual like indented detail there, so the mouth is just kind of printed on top of like a flat surface, and it does look a bit odd like from certain angles. Here's our second and third face option parts, and again you can see a little bit more of that open mouth thing that I was talking about there. Fourth and fifth face option parts here, and as you can see there's quite a wide variety. Finally, our sixth face option part, so we have 6 fully printed faces here that you can choose from, giving us a lot of options there. You also have a full set of unprinted faces here if you wanted to use those waterside decals to make some even more different expressions. There's a lot of decals on there, as you saw. For hand options, we've got open expressive hands, peace sign hands, regular closed fists, and then 2 different types of like a weapon holding hands. One that it's an enclosed circle, so that's going to be for holding her like staff weapon, and another one that's just sort of more like an open resting hand here, I guess, but you can actually use that with her main weapon here. And the weapon kind of has a couple of different forms. So this is going to be like the bow form, so just going to hold onto the handle here. This is going to work as a sort of bow and arrow. The arrow is going to be here like this, so when this is put through there like that, you're going to use that open resting hand here at the back end of there like that to kind of hold the arrow in place to make it look like she's shooting that there like that. But what we can do here with the pointed end of the arrow, this main part of the arrow, you're just going to set that to the side. We have this longer staff basically here. We're going to plug that onto the end of that, and then we're going to take the bow and basically fold the points up, fold all three of these up, pointed like that. And then there's a point here where this will plug into the bottom of there. And that's how her main sort of staff, sort of trident kind of weapon is formed there like that. Very spiky, very pointy, but pretty cool design for that. Otherwise, that's basically it. There is a small little cap piece here for her back. If you didn't have her connected onto the stand and you didn't want to have that hole in the back of her lower torso, you can just plug that with this little piece here. Obviously, we've got then our display base here as well, and the display bases can be joined together. As you can see, there's kind of a locking mechanism on the sides there, so the two can be joined together. And of course, the other main accessory, or basically the other half of the kit, is going to be this snake here. Now, this doesn't necessarily have a ton of like option parts for this. There's a couple parts. This middle section here on the side with these 3 blades sticking out of it, there is an option part to remove those from here. And I suppose any of these 3 various length blade swords here could be just used as handheld swords, I suppose. But we're going to replace that with this option part in here that's going to stick up into there that then gives us these wires. You can cut these wires to shorter lengths if you want. I just kind of left them as what is basically kind of an even length. And the sword blades then will just fit into the end of there like that. So it's basically made to look like these like sword blades are kind of shooting off on wires from inside the wings there, kind of the snake as it were. So pretty cool option. As far as like the weight of being able to hold these up, it does seem like it should be okay. Probably just gonna kind of depend on the pose, how well the wire can hold these up without drooping. As long as you kind of get it posed in the right way, it should be pretty good. We'll try that out here in just a minute when we try some different poses here with this, but it's a pretty cool accessory. Other than that, just some kind of basic functions here. This claw at the front will open up and you can see the kind of barrel of what seems to be probably like some kind of cannon or something there will kind of extend out slightly when you open that up. Here at the front too, you have these claw bits that have a bunch of different points of articulation to be able to move those around. And this whole bit opens up like that, and then here is the 2 hard points for basically combining this 2 kits. We're going to take the main kit here and just remove the legs at the middle of the thigh there, and so the thigh pegs will stick down into there, basically just changing her legs to this like snake body, and then you can still have the upper body to do whatever, and this will all hold it up there. So that will be pretty wild. We'll try that out here in just a second, but the other thing that this can do is just kind of by shifting these parts around a bit, you can basically turn this into like a sort of not exactly motorcycle, but a vehicle anyway for her to ride on as well. So keeping the legs and keeping like that human form and just kind of riding on this. Alternatively, you just kind of keep it as like a separate unit. So there's some really nice options for you, and just a ton of plastic here. Go around to like the back side, you have these parts and everything's connected on mechanical arms here, so you can move stuff around kind of as you need, and basically just kind of everything moves here. As for like the snake body, it can hold a pose pretty well, but as you can see, it is going to be kind of weighed down there a little bit, so you're probably just going to have to keep this like resting on the ground. It's going to be probably pretty hard to keep it like up in an elevated pose. You would have to use the stand to connect to that or something. So this is a pretty repetitive part of the build, as you might imagine. Then here on the end, you also have these little red blades there that can kind of open up there, something sort of like that. But definitely a pretty unique, pretty cool aspect of the design. Let's go ahead and try everything out here in a few different poses. Just on the articulation of the main kit herself, it's going to be pretty standard for any kind of like a Mecha Musume style kit like this, so you kind of pretty much know what to expect there. Pretty nice range of articulation. The only trick is that some of the parts can be a little bit finicky, so like the hair parts, the armor parts, like the side of the hip, some of those parts like to pop off kind of easily, so you may want to just consider using some joint strengthener or just whatever is your preferred method, just to tighten up some of those parts if you find them to be kind of falling off on you more often than you'd like. Easy enough to fix that, but of course the other thing you're going to want to watch out for is just all the little spiky pointy bits on there. First of all, not to hurt yourself, but then also not to damage them as you're handling the kit, maybe whether you're during the building process or during the posing process, or if you're working on like just like changing the pose, doing whatever with the kit. You might find you're going to want to be careful with how you set the kit down, that it doesn't bang into anything, because any of those like very fine sharp points can easily be bent or damaged, and it's just kind of very difficult to fix at that point. So just be cautious with all those little sharp bits, but this is certainly a really interesting, really unique design. We've seen different kits sort of like this, where it's sort of like a Mecha girl that also comes with some sort of like Mecha companion. We've seen like a variety of different ones, or they come with some sort of motorcycle or something like that. So this is not necessarily anything new kind of in concept, but it's definitely a really unique one among the different Mecha Musume kits that exist that are in this kind of similar vein, where you're getting obviously a ton of stuff in the box. One thing notably missing with this is usually a lot of Mecha Musume model kits will come with a less armored form, usually like a very much less armored form. This one doesn't have that though, so that could either be a pro or a con. Personally, I do kind of like that because it just kind of simplifies it a bit for you as a builder, because when you do have different like body forms to choose from, then you have to make the choice, you have to choose, which way am I going to display it. Ultimately, you're going to have a lot of parts left over that are just not going to be used. Whereas in this case, you're going to use like pretty much everything in the box. You have just like a couple of little leftover parts, probably your option faces, option hands, and all that, right? But pretty much everything that's going to be in the box is going to be used here for this. And then of course you have all those awesome water slide decals on there that you can also add to add some more detail to it and all that. So there's a lot that you can do with this, and I think you're getting a lot of value in the box with this one. Aside from those couple of loose bits on the body and also the wrist being a little bit loose, unfortunately, like I said, all that is pretty much easy to fix. But even without the alternate body form, you still get a lot of options with this, with like the different modes that you can use for the weapons there, and then whether you want to have the two kits combined or you want to have the Polaris riding on the Mecha White Snake, or you want to just keep them separately. So there's a lot of different ways that you could choose to display this. And one more thing just to mention too, because I know someone's going to ask about the size of it. It's pretty much the same size as like a Frame Arms Girl or MS General style kit, so it's about 1/10 scale for anybody wondering. But if you guys want to check out the kit for yourself, check it out at usagundamstore.com. The link will be down in the video description as always. And of course, there's plenty of other similar type of Mecha Musume model kits like this on the website, so check all those out there. And as always, guys, thanks so much for checking out the video here today as well. Leaving a like if you enjoyed it, making sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss future uploads. But for now, that's going to be it for this kit. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.